Hello everyone, my name is Linda and welcome back or to my channel. In this space, I share content largely based around minimalism, simple living, as well as a few fun projects like our current Airbnb. In today's video, I'm going to share with you things that, as a minimalist, I no longer buy. So let's start with the first one. The first thing that I no longer buy as a minimalist is trendy clothing. When I first started minimalizing my closet and exploring the idea of a capsule wardrobe, I quickly realized that the trendy or super bold, super unique clothing that I would buy were the first things that I would declutter. They were the first things that I felt bored of or created a closet where I never felt like I had anything to wear that was really put together. My closet, for the most part now, is pretty neutral, dependent on the season, because I live in Canada and we have very distinct warm and cold seasons. I average at about 26 to 30 pieces per seasonal wardrobe, some of which cross over between the seasons. But every single piece that I have in my closet now is something that can be used in multiple different outfits. And it's also something that is timeless, something that I will have in my wardrobe for years to come without it not being in style, but never going out of style in an obvious way. So what this means is that, first off, the pieces that are in my closet are things that I love, things that will last, and things that I'll be able to own for years to come, which means I save quite a bit of money not having to purchase new clothes every season. And while I'll admit, from time to time, my outfits are not the most extravagant or bold, the outfits that I do put together work for me, work for my lifestyle, and make getting dressed in the morning a whole lot easier. The second thing that I no longer buy as a minimalist, this one might surprise you, is plants. Now, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you would know that throughout my house, plants are a key decorating feature in my home. I would be throwing a totally wild guess at how many plants I currently own. So it might shock you that I don't buy houseplants anymore. This is what I've done. As a plant lover, I have a few really close friends of mine who also love plants as much as I do. When I have a plant that is bursting at the seams, I will typically propagate said plant and take that propagation and either trade it with friends or give them away as gifts. That same trading idea that I have when it comes to the propagated babies of my plants is that if I have a plant that is just not thriving anymore in my house, whether it be that it didn't like the move or it's decided it wants to just wither and die and be high maintenance, which is fine, but I now just swap plants with friends. So I've been giving away quite a few plants to really close friends, and yet somehow I still end up with a few more. It's funny how that works. While we were on the topic of decorations, as a minimalist, I no longer purchase meaningless decor or have random trinkets around the house. The things that we choose to decorate our house with are things that are extremely meaningful or sentimental to us, or specifically put together with us in mind. So for example, other than plants, the gallery wall that we have set up in our dining room are all pictures of different trips that Jason and I have been on. So those were taken by myself or by Jason with our own cameras. So each of those pictures means something special to us. While we do have a few random small decor pieces that are maybe a little less sentimental, those are very few and far between, and they're probably pieces that we just enjoy looking at. We also don't invest or bring home trinkets or souvenirs from the trips that we go on. Instead, what we choose to do is to create either a digital collage, or if you've seen our recent Victoria and Kelowna trip, I turned those memories into a video so that they can last us for years and years to come. Jason and I do not have any collections of anything. I'm of the belief that the more things you have in your home, the more things you need to clean. As I make my way into the kitchen, let's talk about a few of the things as a minimalist that we no longer have, specifically as it relates to our kitchen. The first thing is overly unique ingredients. I used to find, not so much with myself, because I've always been a pretty minimalist when it comes to food and stuff that I have, mostly because I never owned a place that had enough room to accumulate in the kitchen. But I'm really conscious as we do a minimalist meal plan that the things that we have for ingredients in our home are things that we are going to be able to use several times in our meal plan. Often what I'll do if a recipe calls for something a little bit more unique, if the dish can go without it, I will. If the dish can have a substitute for it, I'll usually do that. If the dish truly requires that ingredient, either I will simply not make that recipe, or I will pre-plan in our meal plan for the next couple weeks to use up that particular ingredient. When it comes to areas like spices, typically I will avoid buying unique spices that I know we won't use, just because I find there's a lot of expiring in that area. Also in the kitchen, let's talk about appliances. The appliances that we have in our kitchen are all things that we use very often on a week-to-week basis for our meal planning. While we do have some very unique things like a sous vide machine, we use that sous vide machine almost every single week. It is something that we put a lot of time and energy into researching and committed to using it when we bought it. Some of the appliances that we definitely do not have are single-use things such as waffle irons, ice cream makers, bread machines, things like those that either there are other tools to use to make them, or for the amount of times that we want waffles, it's just not worth it, I'll make pancakes. Appliances take up so much space. So by getting rid of the ones that you don't use, or just simply not buying them in the first place, it's a lot more space that you can have just free in your home. Next is coffee pods. We are a really big fan of our Nespresso machine. And Nespresso pods in particular can be quite expensive. Now, I don't want to say we never buy pods. And occasionally we are gifted pods because other people in our family also have an espresso machine. But what we have done is we have simply kept the pods from the last time we purchased them, and we now refill them. What this means is not only are we decreasing the amount of waste that's going into landfills, obviously the seal is still being disposed of, but we are able to save a tremendous amount of money by grinding our own coffee. And I can promise you, the quality really is in the coffee itself. The machine does a phenomenal job of brewing anything you put into it. The next thing that we do not own as minimalists is seasonal specific hostessware. As a matter of fact, if we were to have a large group of people eating in our home, we would use our everyday servingware. While we do have some hosting specific things such as like serving bowls and the lights, nothing that we have is a holiday specific. So there are no turkey shaped bowls in our house. We do not have Christmas mugs or any other holiday specific item like that. I would say the only hostess ware that we do not use on a daily basis would be our gold plated silverware. They were handed down to us through the family, and While we occasionally pull them out just for fun, the reason that we own them is that because we only have a minimal amount of our regular flatware, so the gold stuff needs to come out with the much larger groups. Though I could tell you, it's not my favorite thing to do because they can't go in the dishwasher, which means I have to hand wash them. While we were on the topic of seasonal decor, as minimalists, we do not own seasonal home decorations for every single holiday. To be honest, Christmas is probably the only holiday where we put up a tree and put up decorations. So the little holidays like Valentine's Day, Easter, or St. Patrick's Day, we just don't have decor for those. At this time, we don't really have decor for Halloween either. However, that likely will change because Halloween is Jason's favorite holiday. The next thing that we do not own as minimalists, or at least we don't buy very often, is paper towel. I noticed quite some time ago that we would take off a sheet of paper towel every time that we ate a meal, which means probably at least 2 times a day I was pulling off several sheets of paper towel that would end up not getting used, that we would then just throw in the garbage, or they were minorly soiled. I made the decision to invest in reusable cloth napkins that we now use in place of paper towel. Now, don't get me wrong, we do still have a little bit of paper towel for those really dirty messes that I just don't want on our rags. However, instead of buying the super large Kirkland paper towel packages, we can now buy a really small 6-pack of paper towel and it will last us an extremely long time. I am aware, however, that this habit is a little bit different for everybody. And when we do open the Airbnb in the basement, paper towel is unfortunately going to be something I will start buying again. Another thing in the kitchen that we do not have as minimalists is plastic bags. So the plastic bags that you would get when you buy groceries at the grocery store, we are not able to locate a single one of those in our house. Every now and then one will make its way into our house when we bring something home from the in-laws. However, for ourselves, we've invested in really good quality grocery carriers. Something I'm really grateful to see is that a lot of these plastic bags are no longer actually being offered by grocery stores, so a lot more people are embracing reusable bags. The next thing that we do not have or purchase in our home is bottled water. We are extremely blessed that we have an awesome water distiller that sits on our countertop, so we have high quality drinking water all the time. Jason and I both have reusable water bottles that we absolutely love, and they come with us everywhere. As a matter of fact, Jason uses a shaker cup all the time. I can't remember the last time I saw him drink water out of a glass. Going back to the topic of food, as minimalists, we do not purchase food in bulk. Typically, when we see a really good deal on something, usually proteins, we will occasionally buy 2 or 3 packs. But this idea of buying months and months worth of food is something that we just don't do. Don't get me wrong. In the event of an apocalypse, our house is probably not where you want to be, but we just don't like wasting food. Instead, we shop every single Sunday or Monday and buy what we need through the week. What we also do is we go through our pantry and pre-plan our meals based on things in the pantry that we need to use up. The waste when it comes to food in our house is kept very low using this strategy. Another thing as minimalists that we do not buy, because as a minimalist family, that includes Dexter as well, is we do not purchase an excessive amount of dog toys. As a matter of fact, we do not have an excessive amount of dog anything. Now don't get me wrong, Dexter has plenty of toys. And maybe that's a reason we don't buy them anymore. However, every single Christmas, we replace whichever of his favorite toys he has really abused and used up. This year, it will be his flying squirrel. But in all honesty, over the last 8 years of his life, there are really probably only about 6 toys that he ever really enjoyed playing with. What we do to keep his toys exciting is we just rotate out his toys every 6 months so that to him, his toys always feel new. When it comes to our office, something that we no longer purchase is office stationery. This probably has a lot to do with the fact that we have now switched over to a mostly electronic business. We no longer have a need for staples and rulers, and to be honest, we just got rid of our printer. So a lot of the small trinkety things in an office, such as paper clips, hole punch, anything really to do with paper, we don't have it anymore. We are also really grateful that a lot of the product providers that we work with in our financial business will give us pens and notebooks, often enough throughout the year that we never actually need to buy any of our own. Another thing is minimalist that we do not buy in terms of beauty and self-care is single-use beauty products. What I've done is I've replaced a lot of the single-use products with things that can be used for many years to come. These are things like cotton face rounds. I've replaced them with literal cotton cloth so that they can just be washed and reused. Things like our shower loofah, electric toothbrushes, and I personally use an epilator, and Jason has a reusable razor where he only needs to change the blades. As a woman, I've also, many years ago, replaced all my menstrual products with reusable options. Things like reusable menstrual pads and a menstrual cup. The amount of waste that is created on a daily basis using bathroom and beauty products can really start to accumulate. So by making just these few swaps of items that are going to be able to last us a much longer period of time means that a lot less things are going in the landfill. We spend less money having to replace them, and we really do get our money's worth in the long run by buying things that are more sustainable. On the same topic of beauty, as a minimalist, and probably just by personal choice, I don't invest in a lot of beauty treatments. Now, I am so blessed and incredibly grateful that Jason does my hair for me, which not only is it meaningful quality time together, but I also save a tremendous amount of time and money getting my hair done. But on that same note, things like manicures or pedicures. While occasionally, every now and then, I might treat myself to a spa outing, for the most part, these are things that I just choose to do on my own. And lastly is impulse shopping. We are very conscious about the things that we choose to bring into our house. I believe that there is very few things that I need right away. What this means is that typically if I'm looking to invest in a new piece or object or anything that's going to be coming through our front door, I really take the time to evaluate if it's something that we actually truly need, or if we already have an alternative in our home that we could be better utilizing. If you like this video, go down below, hit the like button, and subscribe. I do a lot of really great minimalist videos on this channel, and I don't want you to miss any of them. While you're here, why don't you check out one of my other really great minimalist videos, such as this one or this one. I'm excited to see you all in the next one. Bye.